Shout out to Anno Domine Beats. Shalom Mashbaka is Ya Akwaba. Like, share, and subscribe. Listen to the word of Ya Akwaba. Whydah Gally, listen to it live. All right, Mashbaka. Let me check my audio, see I'm good. Test one. Test one. 1, 2. That'll do. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about something that I heard the brothers and sisters talking about last night. You know, and I made some statements underneath the video that probably need to be expounded on and made more comprehensible of what I was trying to convey. I was listening, Shalom NYC, how you doing? I was listening to a brother this morning, Afro Think Tank. He have a lot of things on his channel that make a lot of sense. And sometimes when I speak broadly, everything is going good, Mashbaka. Sometimes when I speak broadly about a lot of subjects, like I just say something and leave it alone, you can interpret something more than one way. So I wanted to make sure that what I was going to say, are we Indians or are we Ajuda? That's the topic, fam. And I just want to clarify my stance on this. And my stance don't come by just what I heard, or you know what I mean, or just by what I feel. It ain't facts before feelings. I heard that somebody got a channel out there named it, I think. And that's true. You gotta have a substantiated, you know, I mean, you can go by just, you know, what you feel or whatever. That's how you go before you understand a certain thing. But once you get an understanding about a topic, then you don't have to worry about having the feelings surrounded around that as the point of contact. You can actually have the factual existence, and then your feelings will have to, once you know something is true, will have to be around that right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. This is the history of Florida. All right, now Florida is an old state, and you know they say the first time that Europeans came over to America, they hit Florida. All right, they hit Florida. Oh, I'm talking about of North America, my bad. Even where they say slavery, period, over here on this side of the earth. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop this up for you, all right? Because there's a lot of us that, you know, this history right here is not taught inside of school. The only America that they teach us about is the United States of America. But they don't teach really about the American colonies. They don't teach about that. In American colonies, you know that flag where they say, people keep saying, oh, that's the racist flag. No, that's America's first flag. The first flag that America had was that Confederate flag. All right. And you see, there was a war that happened. There was a war that happened. And this is what the whole argument about every year when we go to vote. I don't vote no more, but if y'all lead me to vote, then I'll vote. But when we go to vote, every year it's people that dress in blue and it's people that dress in red. What is that all about? Do you know what that's about? Do y'all know how they do the reenactment of the war? What they do, they have the muskets and they have the men dressed in blue and they have the men dressed in red. Well, that's what this war is about. All right. And these people, Confederate, then they created a union because, right. But see, that's between them. They was fighting. One was fighting. They didn't like how the slavery was being done. So they felt like they was their part of how they do slavery was that, y'all is inhumane and all that. But look at how they do them. The slave conditions was even worse under this administration. And this administration been going for centuries, but this one started by war. All right, with the 13th Amendment being implemented in, they say, according to historians and according to eyewitnesses, which is our granddaddy and grandma that lived it, and we can compare what they said with what our ancestors said, and also we can compare it with what we see as a people. Grandma and granddaddy said putting you in prison and making you work for free labor and they don't even care if you eat or nothing. That's worse than what it was on the plantation. At least on the plantation, you got to eat the hog guts. At least on the plantation, you could just beg and hope for the bread. But the people that was put inside of the prison, even now today, it is stated that they be maggots and stuff all in the food, even till this very day. So, the 13th Amendment, it shows you a testament. People feel like, oh, this one is better. That's why they got a lot of things called prison reform and all that going on. Let me go ahead and read some of this right here. And fam, I don't want to be on here long today. So if y'all got to watch, to the moderators, if you got to watch, please time me at least 30 to 40 minutes today. All right. And we can break this up into increments and we can take turns doing these lives. Maybe one day I'll go live on StreamYard and y'all can, I will let y'all come up on the panel and you could teach. And we're going to put it in an archive. All right. Yeah. Shalom. I know we don't like to say good morning because, morning in English, you know why they said that. Shalom, Sister Nick, y'all. Yeah, that's Sister Nick. Okay, sister, what happened to your badge? Let me check on that real quick before I start reading. All right, it's Sister Nick. Yeah, you got your badge, sis. All right, so maybe one day, Sister Nick, y'all, you could teach a class. You do your homework and you study about whatever subject about our people and our past and connected to the day. You can study it, and I want to put all that under the podcast for the the vulture thing. We're gonna put it all under the podcast, all right? And that's how we're gonna line this up. And I want it to be like a collage of family. You know what I mean? And I just pull y'all up on the panel and let y'all just run through the class. You know what I mean? And you're going to have your own days where y'all teaching y'all own courses. Slavery in Florida occurred among indigenous tribes and during Spanish rule. All right. So they say slavery in Florida occurred among not by. Slavery in Florida occurred among indigenous tribes, among indigenous tribes, not by indigenous tribes or in indigenous tribes, but slavery in Florida occurred among indigenous tribes and during Spanish rule. Florida, which in that day it was called Spanish Florida, Florida purchased by the United States from Spain. Spain is Spain. You know, that's the Roman Empire. And I got some things I want to show you even also about the connection of the Roman Empire. All right. And also the other nations that got confederate with the Romans. All right. All the other empires have got confederate together. You know, they confederate, but they not together. They're their own countries. They're their own. They got their own rule. All right. United States from Spain in 1819, effective 1821. This is what they say. Was primarily a measure to strengthen the system of slavery on southern plantations. By denying potential runaways, that's where the word Seminole come from. Runaways, because you had to be brought over here on a slave ship to be trying to get away. That's why when they got the Igbo landing, they didn't want to come to America. They wanted to go back to Africa, all right, to the West Coast, where their kingdom was set up and where the embassy of the Oyo Empire was established for the Ajuda people, for the Judean people. All right. Runaways, Seminole, the formerly safe haven of Florida. That's why it was a safe haven place of Florida, right? Florida became a slave state because that's where all of the captives was running to. They was running to Florida because there was a tribes here that was fighting. They didn't want them in their country taking over their country. Slave state succeeded and passed laws to exile or enslave free blacks, and that's where you get the word freedman from. Even after abolition, forced labor continued. And right there, you see it's a reward for a runaway Negro, right there, for $50. And back then, $50 was a lot of money. And I'm going to try to read this. I may get him into my possession. Nimrod is stout built or low stature, having, so they saying that so when they said that the Africans looked at like them in these days, look, why was they naming him Nimrod? You know, Nimrod was a Cushite, right? But our people was not from the Cushite Empire. We was from the Whydah Empire, where they say Yoruba. The Whydah Empire, where they say Igbo, or the Avad people. That's where our people is from, but it's specifically from the tribe of Ajuda. His color is that of dark mulatto. So he looked like a dark mulatto. You see that? So he wasn't no European person. He was a dark mulatto. All right, so let's go here. Even after abolition, forced labor continued. Few enslaved Africans were imported into Florida. Few enslaved Africans were imported into Florida, and we just read of the kingdom that they had to destroy in order to build their embassy of the slave trade. So the kingdom that they destroyed, using the what was the kingdom that they used as slave catchers? The foreign people from the Dahomey. Yeah, the kingdom of Dahomey. And I heard the brother And a lot of people that practice Pan-Africanism said brother sold their own brother. Whydah and Fawn are two different bloodlines. Now, I ain't gonna get into that right now, but I'm gonna read this right here. Into Florida from Cuba in the period of Spanish colonial rule. Spanish colonial rule. So you know how they said Spain and Portugal, they had Spanish Jews, black Spanish Jews, Negro Spanish Jews that was expelled out of Spain, that was expelled out of Spain and Portugal. So it's a from Cuba in the period of Spanish colonial rule, as there was little, and you know there's Afro-Spanish people in Mexico. There's Afro-Spanish people in Mexico. They was Mexico allowed them to come there because the Seminoles, which were the Negroes that were taken from the kingdom of Ajuda, just like we is, they was taken from the kingdom of Ajuda. That's where you get the Gullah people. Gala, which means exiles, and then Gullah can also mean, depends on how you spell it, it can mean kinfolk. Mexico allowed them to come, and it wasn't the Spanish people that was busting heads in Florida. It was the Negro Seminoles, and Spain wanted the Negro Seminoles to come down there and help them fight, because the Negro Seminoles was winning in Florida, and they don't teach this inside of school. Let me see what you said, Mashpaka. Pure heart, repentance, kingdom is at hand. Shalom, shalom, family. So they don't really teach that in school. They don't teach how Negroes wasn't no doormat and just let people walk all over them. How the Israelites wasn't no doormats. How our ancestors wasn't, yes sir, master, yes sir, master, when they was fighting out there on the plantation. They wasn't no yes sir, master, yes sir, boss. Not that kind of Negro. The period of Spanish colonial rule, as there was little for them to do. No mines, no plantations. And they said that the work that the indigenous people had, the indigenous people said the work that the slave master had us doing was like female work, like, you know, picking out in the cotton field and all that right there, because that's something that they didn't do. You know, they had their women to go out there and pick that. What they did is they went and hunted and different type of stuff. Not saying that it's soft people that go out there and pick fruit, because that ain't easy to do. You know, especially when you picking fruit for free with the whip on your back and with the slave master trying to lay up with your old lady by force and all type of stuff, and talking down to you and doing all type of stuff to break your spirit. You ain't got to be doing nothing wrong for them to just come up and just do something just to break your spirit, because they didn't want you to have no sense of self or identity or anything. And you know, they was in the process of wiping out your language, your mindset, and everything. They wanted you to be dumb. That's why you have in Georgia, where our people is at, and also in Florida, and also in Mississippi, and in Texas, and everywhere where you see our people, we all was in the South. We left when the Great Migration came. That's when a lot of us went up there looking for jobs and whatever in New York and all that. And we built up New York, and we built up LA, and we built up all the other places where you see where white people didn't want to. And then when we got done building it up, then they redlined us. You know what that mean? Then they came in, they tried to come in and offer this and then the other to build up this and build up that. And then they price us out of there. So now, just like what they doing in LA, just like they doing in a lot of states, just like what they doing in Florida, they price you out of neighborhoods. They come and they build up something, and then they have the poor tenants that ain't never get paid, no restitution, no reparations, no nothing. Never got paid. Have you noticed that people that's in office, they get paid for being sitting in the office, but the people that built this country for free labor, even if they don't want to call it reparations, but if they call it some kind of compensation, well, they should give our people a diary to the end of the world for all the hell that we done been through it over here. We done been destroyed as a people, and they done put people inside of our country while I know they heard our fathers and our mothers singing about going back over to Canaan land. I know they heard our fathers and them singing about crossing over to Jordan, and they probably thought that we was just talking about singing over here to sing good to make them feel good. They took us over there and set them up over there. When they put our people over there in that piece of that land, Sierra Leone, when our people had to go over there and establish something over there in Africa, because they can't just do nothing. Our people went over there and established something over there in Sierra Leone. Guess who came over there and want to claim that? They call that America now. When our people, look at today, when our people went over there to Ghana, what they wanted to do, establish something. So that's how it go, family. That's how it go. That's how it go. That's wherever you go, they follow. So that tax dollar you gonna pay them taxes. You gonna pay taxes. And you're gonna be treated like an alien when you go there too. You're gonna be seen as an African American or a Caribbean. You're not gonna be seen as, you're gonna be seen. That's what I figured out. I learned that a kata means foreigner, and we should be seen as foreigners. So, but when they come over here, like when people come over here, we see them as immigrants. That's a more nicer word. And we was trying to treat everybody like they was our blood brother and sister. We didn't even realize that, because the European people that was teaching us in school, and even some of the Negroes, when they came down to slavery, they just said they was black people, but they said they was Africans, but they said they our blood brother. And we seen them come over here and they was getting all of the grants and everything while we wasn't getting nothing. And we was just looking at them like, what's wrong with him? That's why you got to get a clarity understanding, because a lot of us is walking around here not understanding. Family, how long I've been on here? We don't understand our position. Now look at this. Slaves escaping from English colonies to the north were freed when they reached Florida and accepted Catholic baptism. Why did the Spanish people practice Catholicism? Who are they? Black slavery, byword slavery, Crayola, coming down, Blackie slavery in the region was widely established after Florida came under British, then American control. So that's when that war happened. You remember that war where they talk about all the time? The war where they was talking about. And that's when it became the United States of America. That's when the Confederate flag thing was, started. That's when that was a transfer from that. American control. Slavery in Florida was theoretically abolished. Well, it was just transferred over to British control. Now let's go over there to British. Now who was the British? Was defeated by the tribes of Radies. I don't know, but let's see if we can straighten this out. This is a screenshot I took because you never know how people change stuff. Roman Imperial Augustus responded by rapidly developing militia infrastructure across Gaul, and y'all remember who the Gauls is. We'll click in there. His general Nero Claudius Drusus began building forts along the Rhine the Rhine, in 13 BC. So this is the same people. Now this is before Messiah right here, BC. So it say right here, these people, Gaul, Nero Claudius, this 13 BC before Messiah. Now when you get to AD, we're going to get to AD, launch a retaliatory campaign across the Rhine in 12 BC. Drusus led 3 more campaigns against the Germanic tribes in the years 11, 9 BC. Look at what they're doing. Launch a retaliatory campaign across the Rhine in 12 BC. We're going to see who the Germans is, all right? For a campaign of 10 BC, he was celebrated for being the Italian, who traveled farthest east in northern Europe. Succeeding generals would continue attacking across the Rhine until AD 16. So that's after the temple was destroyed. So these Europeans was fighting. All right. Notably, Publius Quintilius Varus in AD 9. So this is right after the temple, you know, because 70 AD, well, this is before the temple was destroyed. 70 AD is after Israel is no longer in the land. So what is Europeans doing? Early imperial campaigns in Germany. What was they campaigning for? My bad, but what was they campaigning for? Let me see what y'all said. Pure repentance, heart, the kingdom is at hand. Say they have in Florida southerners where you see alligators with a black bay being eaten by it. It's called yup. Just like what they had for us when we was in Kemet slavery. I'm at 23 minutes. That's good. When we was in Kemet slavery, they used to throw us the the crocodiles. But in America, they threw our babies to the alligators. You right. Scripture says they will cleave to the house of Yahweh. Isaiah 14, 1 and 9. Pure penny say, Psalms 83, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden one. Amen. And so right here it say Quintilius Varus in 89 during the return trip from his campaign. Varus' army was ambushed and almost destroyed by a Germanic force led by Arminius at the Battle of Tettenberg. What's that iceberg name right there? Sound familiar to you? Forest. Map Germania about 50 AD. So this is 50, let's say, so you got 2 more years until, 20 more years until the indigenous people, who was the real indigenous people, the real indigenous Israelites, about to be exiled out of their country, about to become Gala. Arminius was the leader of the Cherusci had previously fought in. The Roman army, a date 12 BC, AD 16, and was considered by Rome to be an ally, to be annally Roman. So look, the Roman army and was considered by Rome to be an, so let me see, go down here and make sure I got my reading right. Expansion into Germania Magna stopped as a result, and all campaigns immediately after were in retaliation. The Claudius Varian disaster, the name used by Roman historians to describe the Battle of the Tuttenberg, iceberg, hamburger forest, and to prove that Roman military might could still overcome German lands. The last general to lead the Roman forces in the region during this time was Germanicus, the adopted son of Emperor Tiberius, who in AD 16 had launched the final major military. And we see here Flavus, you know who Flavus Joseph, you know, the people that they keep saying. Expedition by Rome, casualties and losses unknown, into Germany. Background. In 27 BC, Augustus became, this is before Messiah's birthday, Augustus became princeps and sent Agrippa to quell the uprising in Gallia. During the Gallic uprising, weapons were smuggled into Gaul, who was the Gauls, across the Rhine. Where's the Rhine River? We read about that, from Germany, to supply the insurrection. At the time, Rome's military presence in the Rhineland was small, and its only military operation, I'm gonna just say it like they say it now in America, only militia operation. There were punitive expeditions against the incursion. It was seen as more important to secure Gaul. Look at this, Gaul, fam, and wiped out any signs of resistance there. After Gaul had been pacified, improvements were made to the infrastructure, including those to the Roman road network in 20 BC by Agrippa. Rome increased its military presence along the Rhine, and several forts were constructed there between 19 and 17 BC. Augustus thought that the future prosperity of the empire, Roman Empire, depended on the expansion of its borders, and Germany had become the next target for imperial expansion. Germany had become the next target for imperial expansion. After capturing and executing Roman soldiers east of the Rhine in 17 to 16 BC, the tribes Sicambri, Usipetes, and Tintiri crossed the river and attacked a Roman cavalry unit. Unexpectedly, they came across the 5th Legion under Marcus Lollius, whom they defeated and whose eagle they captured. This defeat convinced Augustus to reorganize and improve the military presence in Gaul in order to prepare the region for campaigns across the Rhine. In Gaul, family, an attack soon after by Lollius Augustus caused the invaders to retreat back to Germany and sue for peace with Rome. These is white people fighting. So I made my point, I think. And so we see Claude and this Drusus right here. And this is Germany and in Italy, Spain, and Portugal, all them fighting. This is them. These is the tribe of people that was in Florida first. All right. When Christopher Columbus, who was an Italian, wanted to go and discover land, who was a Roman, wanted to go and discover land, they called him a Jewish man, but he was a Roman. As we know that Christopher Columbus is an Italian, but they call him Jewish. Jewish. You know a tree by its fruit. Jewish. What kind of fruit grew off of Christopher Columbus' Jewish tree? Because it looked like to me that Christopher Columbus wanted to enslave He came and discovered a land. Come on, family. He came and discovered a land. Jew-ish. Not like the Negroes who was just there living in their land. Judean. Like they said on the west coast of Africa. Kingdom of Judah. Kingdom of Whydah. Kingdom of Ajuda. Ajuda. Nero Claudius Drusus, an experienced general and stepson of Augustus, was made governor of Gaul. That's how they took over the Gaul, the land of Gaul. Let me go back up to the top. And I'm going to click on Gaul like I promised. Gaul, Latin, Gallia, was a region of Western Europe, not Israel. Western Europe. Look right here. Belgium. I think that's Belgium right there. That's their old name. That's the Celtic people. This is European people. Gallia right here. Romans, Incapaz Day. And let me click inside of Josephus real quick. And go back over here until it load. All right, so I'm gonna click on here in Josephus. Are we there yet? And then I'm finna come back to the comment section and ask y'all, did y'all want to add to anything? Remember, the book is called Josephus right here, Antiquities of the Judeans. They put Jews, that's a new word. Yahudim, they used to say. Yahwadah, our people used to say. Antiquities of Yahwadah. Or they say Ajuda or Whydah. Now let's see. I'm gonna show y'all, this is the book, so y'all can get this book by Flavius Josephus. Let's look at the time that this book was written, if they got it in here. So I want y'all to see that this book is older than everybody that feel like they foots, that they got hair on their chest now, you know? Everybody feel like they got hair on their chest nowadays, and they ain't get their foots wet yet. All right. Josephus been around for a long time. He was here before we got here. All right. So I believe it was chapter 15. Chapter 15. Yes, sir. Chapter 15. There we go. That's where we left off last time. All right. So these are the African nations right here. I'm going to briefly go over these. And I'm going over the European nations just briefly. I'm not going to read all that like I did last time. So this is Japhet right here. Japheth. This is the river that connects all their lands together along Europa. Tarsus, Armenius, Asia, Tansis, and along the Europa to Cadiz. That's why we call them Europeans. And then, so all the Japhet children, we call them Europeans. No matter if they say that they can convert out of a bloodline from being a Japhethite to being whatever person they want to be. It's a brand new world, a brand new point of view. Somewhere to dream upon a star, you know? Inhabited before they called nations by their own names. So for Gomer, founded those whom the Greeks now call Galatians. The Greeks called them Galatians, Gauls. That's what we was reading about. But were called Germites. Magog founded those from him who were named Magagites, who are by the Greeks called Scythians. Now as Javan and Madai and the sons of Japheth from Adai came the Medians, who were called Medes. You know the Medes and the Persians? By Greeks. But from Javan, the son of Japheth, Ionia. And all the Grecians are derived from Thobel, a son of Japheth, founded the Thobelites, who are now called Iberes, and the Greeks call themselves everybody. They call themselves Greeks, and they call themselves everybody. They like a locust. They swallow up your identity. They say they are your identity, and they say that your history and nothing about you matters. And Moshakini were founded by Mossak. Now the Cappadocians, there is also a mark of their ancient denomination still to be shown, but there is even now among them in a city called Mazacah, which may inform those that are able to understand that so was the entire nation once called. Tharius, also called by those who were ruled over Tharasian, and the Greeks changed into Tharikians, and so many were the countries had the children of Japhet, the children of Japhet, Yapath, white people, for they inhabited of 3 sons. So even to Jesse, if you love white people, why don't you tell white people the truth? For their inhabitants of these 3 sons, why they got the hate that they Japhethites? They came from Adam, right? Jesse, Lee Peterson, Gomar, Ashkenaz come from Gomar, founded the Ashkenazskians, who are now called by the Greeks Rehegenians. So did, and to these days, he's called Jewish. Raphath founded the Raphians, now called Papagonians, and Dogramma, the Dragamanians, who, as the Greeks resolved, were named Pagans and Javan. So, family, I ain't finna go over all that today, but I just want to show y'all, that these was white people fighting, colonizing and fighting, and this is where we at today. And then, at one time, they was afraid to go down to Africa, deep down in Africa. But they came down and they said, oh, the people there is kind-hearted or whatever. So they changed their mind about them. Once they, just like when they came to America and did what they did, when they came down there, they had a conversation with Ajuda, Yoruba people, when they was in Northeast Africa. The Judah people, when they was in Northeast Africa, when their kingdom was in their country, when Judah was in their country, and then they went down there and had a conversation with the Kemetic people who been there way before they got there. And strange, oddly, the Kemetic people left, and then it was a new people there. Then they went up there to Ajuda. And strangely, oddly, they started putting hog inside of the who cook hog and put it inside of in the stove. And they started putting hog in the stove with people that bathes with ceremonial bathing and stuff, who went up to Europe and cleaned up Europe. The Moors cleaned up Europe, remember? The Moors of Spain and Portugal cleaned up Europe, and they got exiled out of Europe. So the Moors of Spain and Portugal had cleaning, things that they did. So the Judeans had to clean themselves and everything to go inside the temple. But these people brought hog in there. Look at Christopher Columbus. It's stated that Christopher Columbus didn't bathe for years. I think some Europeans, they got dated, and I know it's not but it's the truth, that they was afraid of water back then. Water was like the boogeyman. I mean, how can I say that? I don't know. This is how, see, this is how you know when people can believe something so strong until they'll be afraid of something that's like water. They was afraid of water. Afraid of water. Just like a lot of us is afraid of our identity. They was afraid of water. What happened to the Europeans that they was afraid of water? Can they bring out that part of history so that people can understand them better? Why was they so afraid of water? And why is Ajuda, afraid of their identity? Why they acting like the limber is not the limber? But now they saying that they the limber. Do you understand? So that's what I want to bring out today. And you know, I'm finna get off of here. I got to handle something. So remember, this is what we cover today. And I will leave a file underneath the video of this. If you want the file of Ajuda, of this Ajuda, there's a video that I did called, let me look it up real quick so I can make sure. The name of the video that's about Ajuda is called Random or Specific. And underneath that video, you'll find all of the files of the Kingdom of Judah on West Africa. And also check out our brother Afro Think Tank, and don't abandon your brothers and sisters because they believe that they is indigenous people over here. You know, just have mercy and grace, and maybe a lot of stuff that they say, they may have a point to it. You know, at one time I thought that I was the last Mohican and all that. You know, it gives you a sense of identity. And I'm not trying to look down on our people. I love our brothers and sisters, and this is just the situation that we in. I know that they my brothers and sisters. Many blessings to you, Yaquaba, and everyone in the chat. Much love. Shalom, pure repentance. So I'm at 37. I hope I got to go, fam. But I thank y'all for coming and listening to those who will come here after, and those who are listening in the background. I hope that y'all will return. Don't be offended and not come back. And sister, brother and sister, I wanted us to do a collage of videos together. And I wanted to put them inside of that, underneath that video. And so even if you're a rapper, if you want to talk about your career, you could, we could set up a meeting and we could do something together, you know, just to, let's keep this thing going. We're gonna create our own collage, you know what I mean? We could do our own thing. And all right, family, I want to say shalom to y'all. And y'all, please check out my wall of all the channels on the wall. I didn't put all the channels from all the brothers and sisters, but I'm trying my best to put as many of them as I can. But y'all can go through and look through the videos. Pastor Kelly is on there, where I learned a lot from. Pastor Kelly taught me a lot of stuff. I learned a lot of Hebrew from listening to Pastor Kelly. To Sister Talia Levy, I learned a lot from Sister Talia. You know, I learned a lot from our sister Yawana. Sister Yawana, she do a lot of good lessons. I learned a lot from even some of our brothers and sisters over there in Africa. I learned a lot from them. You know, I learned a lot from my brother right here. And please make sure y'all hit this channel up right here. This channel is called On the Shoulders of Giants. On the Shoulders of Giants. There's a video I share underneath it. It's called The Greatest Story Ever Stolen. Y'all please check that video out. You're gonna see a man with a bird head up there. The Greatest Story Ever Stolen. All right, fam. And it was somebody, yeah, Yawana, she said she working on the video. So y'all check out Sister Yawana. Said she working on the video. And Brother Tim, Kate Judah, and our sister Whydah Society, she be doing so much work. And on and on and on. Just go and look through it, family. You will be as excited as I am. Kendrick Lamar up there, you know. We got his halftime performance, all that. Y'all can go on there and support the NFL channel, whatever. You know, just Go and show your brothers and sisters love. All right, fam, I got to get up out of here. But just look through there, you know what I mean? Through all of that. And the brothers and sisters that know that I comment underneath their videos, I'm going to try to find something that I can share up here, you know? So that's my only request, that y'all, you know, if y'all doing videos, y'all can do them how y'all want to do them. But out of my request for y'all, so that I can really shout y'all out like I want to, I can't, you know, I don't want to share nobody, you know, using foul language. But it's your thing, it's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do. But, you know, it's sometimes I be wanting to just share all the brothers and sisters stuff. Y'all check out Curtis King channel as well. All right, family, and brother Willie D. And look at my family photo albums that I put up there. And brother Obadiah, shalom to you, brother. Thank you for keep on coming. And Vonta and all of the Mashpaka. Thank y'all for coming. I got to go, fam. Shalom.
There's plenty sisters missing and plenty being abused. But when you look on TV, it don't be in the news. So what we gonna do is we gon' stand by and keep a gender war while watching people die. It's pretty easy to pretend that we figured out, but we can never really push a little baby out. Our sisters been here, my brother, through thick and thin, through the wickedness, yeah, even the same sin. There's no pain on this earth can compare to the way that it feels when the mother giving birth to baby. People trying to fake it but can never duplicate it. It's a whole lot of haters on this earth, fake it, they can take another reason. I don't understand how a man can rape a lady and he spend 9 months as a baby in his mama belly. I'm sorry for the pain and the suffering that you've been through. I wish I could do more but I'm right in this. You got a brother here, you got a hug here. You got a brother here, sister. You got a hug here. Say don't you give up. Say don't you give up. You got a brother here. You got a brother here. You got a brother here. Possess the and they unclean, acting in their character. What you see is what you getting at the mass hysteria. But who the people? We belong to Allah. I ain't supposed to worship Hamashiach, but we calling on that idol. Says your prayer boy, she'll lead many to the fire, so that whip will crack a latch up to the shadow. Man, I'm sick and tired of waiting, searching, looking for somebody else. Danger everywhere. Every time you turn another murder, stuck up in his hellhole, waiting on that chain to come. Gotta do our time, but I wanna be free now. It ain't safe, no place on the earth we get it beat down on the four corner. Many ways, let's pray. This track here ready for the people that be praying for the sheep, that was standing for the weak, seeking to lift the weak, who been beat by this wicked system. Although the people of the land of Yasharal lay captive on the four corner, soon to return, be encouraged. You got a brother here, you got a hug here. You got a brother here, sister. You got a hug here. Say don't you give up. Say don't you give up. You got a brother here. You got a brother here. You got a brother here.
Shalom, Mashpaka. Until next time, Yahweh willing.